Elizabeth Chappell, a lifelong entrepreneur who finally found my niche. After years of new ideas and jumping from business to business, I figured out how to turn a craft into a successful career. In 2016, I started a monthly subscription box for quilters. That little startup has grown into a thriving, multiple six-figure business that I am so proud of. As a published author, designer of fabrics and patterns being sold throughout the world, my favorite thing to do is to teach others how to grow a career of their dreams. Each week, you'll hear from me or from other guests who are creative entrepreneurs, so you can learn exactly what to do and what not to do to grow a career that's more rewarding and successful than you ever thought possible. If you're ready to turn your craft into a career that you love, I am so excited you're here. Welcome to the Craft to Career podcast. Welcome, welcome. I truly cannot wait for today's podcast episode. Today I have Nicole Burk of Gardenary Co. She is my mentor and teacher who is helping me grow my Instagram account, which we're going to talk about how much it's grown, how it's grown. You're going to learn so much from Nicole. She is a brilliant marketer and just so down to earth and real. Before you get introduced and meet Nicole, I want to read this review. It is from Lizzo M. Lizzo says, love this podcast. Elizabeth and her guests always hit some really good points in each and every episode. They talk about things I wouldn't think of and things that are so relatable. They make me feel seen and heard. She is a true testament of how you can turn your craft into a career. Lizzo, thank you so much for leaving a review. And for you listeners, you know that I don't run ads, and all I ask is that you leave a review for the podcast. So this not only helps the podcast and helps get wonderful guests like Nicole, but it can really help other entrepreneurs who are looking for and struggling. So it's a way for you to pay it forward. So take a moment, just a swipe of the thumb, go ahead and leave a review for the podcast. And now let me introduce you to Nicole. Nicole, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to have you. For our listeners, can you introduce who you are, what you do?
Yes, my name is Nicole Johnsey Burke, and I am the owner of Gardenary Incorporated. We're on a mission to get every single person growing a little bit of their own food in a garden. And I also just recently started a second company where I help entrepreneurs, business owners grow their business the way I've grown Gardenary.
Which is how I found you. And I am so thankful you have changed my business, which sounds really dramatic, but it's true. So, and I have a garden now. I bought your cedar plank garden thing and I'm starting a garden. What? So yeah, you're changing my life in all sorts of ways. Yeah.
You are like the epitome of like the new American woman. You're like quilting, gardening, growing a business.
It's true.
You're just like, yeah, we're gonna make a statue for you because I'm not quilting. I'm not quilting yet. So
yet. Because with all your free time, you know. I would love to hear, I follow you on all the things. And I heard you share a little snippet of a story that I would love to hear more of. It was talking about how you had food problems and you're like, if you're an alcoholic, you just avoid alcohol, food, you can't do that. And how that's changed the trajectory of what you do. Can you share more about that?
I'm so glad you started with this. In high school and college, I developed a food addiction. You could tell because my weight was fluctuating up and down. I'd be really overly thin, and then I would put on 20, 30 pounds. And essentially, I was always thinking about food. Like, honestly, I was thinking about avoiding it. And then I would think about how I couldn't get through the day without it. I would eat privately. So I would come home or get myself into a place and just stuff my face and binge. And then feel terrible about it. And I didn't have the emotional IQ at that time to realize I was essentially like avoiding all of the things in my real life and not like processing them in a healthy way. And instead just completely perseverating on food and my weight and my image So I didn't have to deal with like, does this boy like me, or am I a good friend to this person? I am not kidding, Elizabeth. It like totally took over my brain. I watched this movie. I think it was called Pay It Forward. Such a good movie. And this kid's mom is an alcoholic and she can't quit even though she wants to. And I saw the movie and I thought, the way she feels about alcohol is the way I feel about food. And just no one could put a name to that for me. Everybody would look at me and be like, you're not, you don't look anorexic and you don't look super overweight and you're a successful person. So to everybody else, I looked fine, but on the inside, I was torn up. I mean, I was miserable. And it lasted for quite a long time, like into my 20s. And so, after I graduated college, I actually lived overseas in a very rural area in China. And there, it's they would call me fat. So that was a little like, whoa. But in their culture, this area where we lived, I mean, being fat is a good thing. It means that you've got plenty. And like literally a greeting on the street is, have you eaten yet? And like, that's like, are you okay? And so living in this place, we, food would be seasonally available, like you could have this certain thing in March, but it wasn't available in June. And I lived among like a agricultural culture, basically a farming culture. And I started to realize like, wow, I am so disconnected from my food that it's like an enemy to me. Right? Like I would wake up and see food as the enemy, like don't come into my body. And then when it would come into my body, I would feel terrible. And then I got into this culture so different from mine. And it was such a wake up call. I was like, to these people, food is life. Food is everything. And I saw how their food was attached to like their daily habits. So, they wake up and they would go outside, work in the fields, bring things in, start a fire, make some soup, pull the greens they had just gotten from the yard, make, their dishes, go through their day, go back outside, be outside in the weather with the plants, come back and make a dinner and eat so much. Like literally every meal they'd say, are you full yet? Are you full yet? Tribala is the way you say it. And then it was just such a healing time for me. And so literally that was the start of my interest in gardening. It was my first time to see like how food was grown and how you can eat food that's fresh and has just come from the soil. But it also was just this kind of aha moment of like, nothing's wrong with me. Something's wrong with the system that I grew up in. Something's wrong with the way I experienced food growing up. Nothing's broken. And it was the beginning of a totally new life and journey for me.
That is so beautiful. And okay, where in China did you live?
I lived in the southern part. So I like to say I'm from Mississippi. I grew up in Mississippi and I lived in like the Mississippi of China. It's like, it's just like it's a landlocked province called Guizhou, very poor area. They say not 3 miles without a mountain, not 3 days without rain, not 3 pennies in a pocket. So it's it's the lowest developed besides Tibet, that area. It's like the lowest developed economically area of China. So
what brought you there? Why did you go?
I wanted to change the world. I was in college and I don't know, do we all hit this, where you're like 22, I was a business major and I was like, I'm going to be a businesswoman. And then I don't know. I think I read something about Mother Teresa or something. And I was like, no, I'm going to be Mother Teresa. And so I had this, I think I just had this scare of like my life not meaning anything. And I wanted it to mean something and I wanted to be different. I'm an extreme person. I'm sure you've kind of caught on to that. So I was like, how can I change the world? Let's go across the world to China. I just had these big dreams of making a big difference. And, in retrospect, I don't think I really did much for them. But it was an incredibly humbling time in my life to go to a place where no one cared my name, my accomplishments. No one cared that I was valedictorian or, came from this. They just saw me as a foreigner. I was called an outsider, literally. And you can't even talk. I mean, I felt like I was a 2-year-old. And that was a really humbling and powerful experience to go through in my 20s. And also, you realize the world is so big. And, the things that we worry about, I think we'll talk about this some today, but something like the internet and social media, like you realize, like, even if millions of people see what I put on the internet, it's this big compared to the population of the world. And when you're in the masses in a country like China, it's just people everywhere, and you realize, like, you're just one of many, many. So, like, get over yourself, just just show up and make a difference in your small place. So yeah, that was the beginning. That was the beginning of it all. I had no idea when I went that I would be healing my food issue, but it really was the start, and I'm so thankful. And so for anyone listening that does deal with food issues and addictions, it's like, it's not you. It really is the system that we're living in. And so just getting yourself close to really good food and attaching body movement, time outside to food is really powerful. I used to think if I could be skinny enough, I would finally be happy. And I realized that if I was happy, it wouldn't matter how skinny I was, and changed my life.
That is so cool. And I mean, side note, I actually also went to China in college for a semester and taught English there. So how about that? Wuhan, which is now on the map. So yeah.
Wow. So fun. I mean, isn't it crazy just how many people you just can't you can't put into words, right?
Yes. And so foreign. But on this topic of you're just a drop in the bucket and there's so many people. Well, first of all, congrats. You just hit 1 million followers, by the way, on Instagram, which is huge, but also a drop in the bucket, in the world when you think about it.
Absolutely.
You studied business in college. That checks. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But how did you learn? I mean, you are a savvy businesswoman. What classes have you taken? Like, how did you learn to do social media?
Yeah, great question. So in 2015, it was when I started my first business. So it was a service-based business in Houston. And my cousin, who is 6 years younger than me, called me and she said, I'm going to come down. She lives in Virginia. I lived in Houston at the time. She said, I'm going to come over and take photos for you for Instagram. You got to start an Instagram account. And Elizabeth, I'm not kidding you when I say I did not even have a smartphone until 2015. I'm not exaggerating. I had a flip phone and I would text by tapping the 1, 2, 3 times. Like that is what a Luddite we were. We didn't have TVs in our home. Like we were a no tech family. And I said to her, I don't think Instagram has anything to do with growing my business. And she's like, oh, let me show you a couple of accounts. So she came and took photos, and that was back when it was photos, And so I started then, and I was doing it on the go. Like I'll have to send you, I don't know if you share any photos, but I'll send you a couple of my first posts.
Yeah, I do.
I did look a picture of dill and it said, what's the dill pickle? That was my social post. So let's just say I've grown a little bit. So all that to say, I have no marketing background. And in fact, I would say maybe this is part of the secret sauce. I really haven't been exposed to a lot of marketing because I don't really watch TV. I didn't watch TV in any of my 20s. And I wasn't on social. So like when I came into it, I didn't come into it as a scroller. I came into it as a business. And I think a lot of people listening to you and watching us, they're scrollers, right? Because that's how they found us. And so they've got like some perceived notions, some ideas already of like what's good, what's acceptable, what is cool, and then also what's cringy. And I didn't have any of that because I literally hadn't been on. So I came on as a complete newcomer. And looking back, I think that was a secret sauce of just like, I was like, I'm not embarrassing myself because I literally don't even know what's cool. Like I didn't have this like, oh, she does these filters and this person, like people to this day will say, so-and-so does this. And I'm like, who's that? Like, I don't even know who these like important people are. So yeah, but a couple things. One is consistency. So consistency matter. We talk about this, you and I, in our program. consistency is more important than frequency. And so you can go back to when I started my business, probably November 2015. I dare you to find 2 or 3 days I missed in a row. Like I've been, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So that was like, I would do a garden, take a photo, post it. Like, did it get a lot of, I take it back. I did back off in January of 2021. I was running ads and the ads were just killing it. And so I took a break, but I was still there. I was just there through ads for about 30 days. I took a break. But other than that, every day I would post something. And so, you and I talk about this in our program, but like we have the quality versus quantity thing. And so many people want to show up right away. Cool. And there are people who can do that, but I'm not one of those people. Like I'm currently trying to grow my personal account and I feel like such a nerd, such a dork because I don't have a following there and I'm trying to like build it. And so every post I do, I'm like, I'm so embarrassed, And so I think like I was so desperate to grow my business that I truly believed in the quantity. I'll recap this quick study, but they did this study with pottery and photography. One class said, do your best piece of pottery. That's what you're getting a grade on. Do your best photo. The other class said, you're getting graded on quantity. Make as many pieces of pottery as you can in the semester, take as many photos as you can in the semester. When they got to the end of the semester, the quantity people had the better quality. So they would judge, like, does this person who worked all semester to make one big piece of pottery, is theirs better than the person who made 50? And they could find one in the 50 that was better than the one person who just made one. And so I think I've just like had that in my, I've had that in my, like, I think as a mom, I think this, like that I'm not trying to have this one amazing moment with my kid. I'm trying to have little micro moments because I can't bet on, in that magical moment, they might be really mad at me and not want to talk to me, or they might have had a bad day. Right. And so I think like learning that in my family, I see that with my business. So I'm very consistent, showed up every day, didn't stress about being amazing. And then if you do that, the amazing part about the internet is they'll teach you. Like I would say my marketing class is the internet, right? Like, I mean, my daughter took a marketing class in high school last year and she's like, Mom, this is a joke. She's like, you need to get in this class and teach it. She's like, this person has never put anything out in the public, right? So he had all these theories, but he has no practice. And for me, I mean, where can you get a better, like immediate, right? Or you've seen this with your videos, right? I posted a video last week and my assistant was with me and I opened it up 10 minutes later. I was like, oh, bummer. It's not going to hit. And she was like, Nicole, 5,000 likes or 5,000 views in this period of time is awesome. It was 5,000 likes. And I was like, oh, no, I can tell you right now, it's not hitting. And it's just like, right. We know, this, right? When you hit a video, like we know immediately I can open it up 15 minutes later. And I know if I struck a nerve or not. And so the same was true back in the photo days. Like I would come up with an idea for a post and then I'm like, let's test it. And then you put it out there and literally within an hour to 24 hours, you have your feedback. It's incredible. Like, I don't know. This is why I talked to you about this and so many people. I'm like, y'all, we're living in a time that's never existed before, where someone like little old me who had no social media following, no marketing training, I got trained by my followers. It's really cool. They tell you, we love this, or you know what, that's boring and I don't care. So it's a powerful time.
Yeah, it is. I have a lot of, people in my following who are quilters or crafters. One of the big questions that I get is, what should I post? I can't make a new quilt. Like their assumption is they need to showcase their finished product. So can you speak on what kind of content they could be sharing?
Yes. Well, you're such a perfect example of this. What we want to realize about social media is like, it's so different than media before and even now. So like this, right? So my first book, this is static. This is never changing. And this is perfect, right? Like everything is perfect. It's like your quilt when it's all done. Anyone can get that anytime they want to, just by going to like a magazine rack or a bookstore, or a blog post or whatever, right? Like that's where they can see perfection. So everyone in the world, since I would say, especially since 2020, they're like, we're good on perfection. Like we've seen enough. And now they're like, break it apart for me. Like show me every little bit of it. Show me, show me cutting the fabric, show me buying the fabric, show me deciding what fabric not to buy. Show me the scissors you bought that broke the first time you used them and were a total waste of money. Show me throwing those in the trash. Show me how you followed a pattern from YouTube and it was a terrible pattern and you had to scrap it and start all over again. People want to see that. That is, you can't get that in a magazine. You will never get that from corporate. You'll never get that from a big brand. You will only get that from people like me and you. And that is what the world is hungry for. Because our lived experience, right, is what they're living. Because I don't know about you, but I did follow a pattern on YouTube and it was terrible. And I had no money at the time. And I was making my kids bean bags. And I literally, this was going to be their Christmas present. And it was a fail. And if I had been on social media at that time, it would have been an incredible video to show. And so people want to see your emotions. They want to see the backstory. They want to see the mistakes. They want to see the failures. They're tired of seeing perfect. They want to see the practice. They want to see the messiness. And so you and I talk about this in my method, but basically out of say 10 videos, only one should be the perfect. And then every other one should be making jokes, saying extreme things, showing failures, showing hacks, showing don't do this instead. And then you can show the fancy, but it's really only 10% of the things we should be sharing.
I will say I was terrified at first when you were like, take off the filters, show the real you. I was like, but it is what I like to see. I don't know if you probably remember this because it's you, but you went and got like a laser on your face.
Yeah.
And it was like, you could see it bleeding. I was like, oh, she's very real. And I was like, I love it. And I feel connected to you. And what I see is what I get. I'm not like, who are you really? And I was like, let that be a lesson, Elizabeth. Just show up as you really are. Yeah. And it's very refreshing. It's terrifying, but refreshing.
Totally. And I put that up there. And the next morning I was like, what mind were you in when you thought that was a good idea? Like, I love it. Nicole, that was a terrible idea, but it's too late because 5,000 people already saw it. So, oh well. But it's neat to hear, I'd forgot about that, but it's neat to hear it from someone like you because you're like my person, you know what I mean? And so if you saw that and it said to you, oh, she's real, then I'm like, all right, let me go get some more microneedling,
Right. Oh, that's what it was. Okay. I'm like, what was it that she got done?
Microneedling. It's so I needed some life in my face. So they kind of tear it, they break it up. And then supposedly it makes your cells go into overdrive. Who knows?
Which on a side note, when I first found you, I was like, she's in Houston. I'm in Houston. I was like, yay. And then I found out you moved. I'm like, darn it. Yeah, I'm in Houston.
Oh, we have to connect when I come because I will be there. So.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So first of all, I know my listeners, because they've already asked and they're going to be asking again, what is this course or thing that I've signed up for that I'm learning from you? When is it available again? How can they get it?
Yes. So we call it the social sales system, and you were you were literally one of the first. Can I just say, I have to brag about you for a second. When I saw your account, I was so excited, first of all, to be connected to you. And then I was like, oh, you're going to be the place to go for quilters. You're going to be Quilters Universe. And I don't know if you remember that, but when I first was looking at your account, I'm like, oh, this could be huge, that like everybody sees you at. And I feel like what has happened? Your account is it a lot bigger?
Oh, almost about 100,000 followers bigger.
Serious?
Like, yes, I'm serious.
Because I saw your stuff and I was like, okay, she makes beautiful stuff. She has products already. And then I don't remember at the time, were you mainly just marketing to like business, like people who wanted to start a business? Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. And that was it. I was like, if she would broaden herself and say like, this is for all quilters, she's going to blow up.
And that was a game changer. And it's hilarious because at that time I was like, I'm going to niche down and I'm going to go in only for business. And when you said that, I took like a week of grappling with like, should I do that? Should I pivot? It's been the best thing ever that you suggested. And so now I'm like, Nicole, what else? Tell me what else. So like, it was awesome. So,
well, like kudos to you for, not many people will allow someone else to like come in and say, hey, here's my idea, And that's been I will say back to your first question, you were like, how did you grow and learn and stuff? I mean, that's definitely been my MO, is like find someone who's a step ahead of me in any field and like learn all I can from them and do what they say. Like if someone's having more success in a field than I am, then I'm going to put my ego aside and just like do what they say to do. And I would say that's definitely a secret sauce of mine. And like seeing you do that and like opening my feed and seeing your videos, I'm like, she owns this now. Like it's just incredible. So, so fun. And like, you'll be at 1 million very soon, I'm sure. So it's called the Social Sales System. And I actually just re-recorded it. So you're going to get where it's new and improved. So you'll get the new version soon. I would say I will give you some links, but at Hey Nicole Burke. So where my middle name is my maiden name. Anyway, that's long. I'm going to skip that story. We just changed my personal account to Hey Nicole Burke. That's the one I'm trying to grow and I'm so embarrassed about. But that Hey Nicole Burke is where you can learn more about the course. And we have a really fun resource to share with your listeners. And it's 5-second videos they can make. And so I think you have this resource too, but we made it for your listeners. So we'll give you a special link at Hey Nicole Burke where they can get it. But it's 20 videos, and this would help them just get started on 20 videos they can make in 5 seconds that, that can totally move the needle and help reach people. So you've made a 5-second video, a lot of them. Do you know what your most like viral one was or powerful one was?
Yes, it's bizarre. And I kind of redo that same theme, but a little different. And it's the idea of like, if you are a quilter and you love pretty fabric, let's be friends type of a thing. That's it.
And you're like,
weird.
You're like rolling your eyes. Like, you're like, so I went to college to learn this marketing skill. What?
I know.
Isn't that crazy? So that's so powerful because it starts with if you, right? So right of the way, it's not about you. And I would say that's one of the cool things that you've really adopted that a lot of people don't catch on to is like, if you're running a business, your internet, your Instagram, whatever, it's not about you. It's about them. Yeah. And so you start with if you, which immediately tells the person, Elizabeth isn't bragging. She's not showing off. Like she's talking to me. So it's like, if you, and then fill in the blank, right? And for you, it's love pretty fabric and making things or making quilts. Do you actually say quilts? Yeah. So specific, right? Like, do I like pretty fabric? Yes or no? Do I like making quilts? Yes or no? And then you give me an invitation. Like you show me that you actually care and you're like, let's be friends. And so it's literally like this perfect, to me, like that is like the social sales system, right? So it's being social, like catching them in their feed. And then right in the middle, you're saying, do you want this thing? And for you, it's pretty fabric and quilts. And then you go to the invite. And that's essentially what social sales system is it starts on social. It offers something in the middle, like for you and me, that's ebook. I've seen you do all these great things now, like resources that you put in the center, a workshop, a ebook, a live class, a mini course. And then on the other side of that, you have the ability, because you've now moved them off of social media. They're in your email list. They're on your text message. You can say, hey, do you also want, if you liked this resource, then it's kind of another if you question, right? Like, if you liked this, then you're going to then let's be better friends, right? Let's get to know each other more. And then you offer them, you sell patterns and you sell your business course.
Yep.
And anything else?
And templates on like writing your own quilt patterns, and then one-on-one mentorship.
Oh, wow. So so growing by 100,000, like we just met in like August, so it's not even a year. And that's crazy. And then has it impacted your sales?
Yes, my sales have absolutely gone up, correlated with the growth, which that's another thing that I have said in the past. I'm like, it doesn't matter how many followers you have. I'm like, but it does, So I retract what I said. And then people are also very skeptical. They're like, but have your sales gone up? As if it's not going to go up. But I think that's because people are used to just growing the vanity. But when you use the social system sales, am I saying that right? Your sales do go up. So
it's crazy, right? Yeah. It's like, I was saying this, I got to talk about this yesterday in an interview. And I said, I used to just post and hope and pray for likes and follows. And I never could link it to sales. And now that we developed this system, we literally have, we know exactly how many videos, like if we have a launch coming up in May, and we need 30,000 leads for our goals, to hit our goals. So Elizabeth, I literally know how many videos I have to post to get 30,000 leads. I know how many views I need to get on those videos. And we even kind of have a quantity of how many like viral videos we need to get to that number. And so it's crazy. So I could do it for you. Do you want to give me like I know we're running close, but like, do you have like a sales goal number and I can kind of track it back for you?
Yeah. Yes. So my quilt pattern writing course, that's my big signature course. It comes out every September, and I want to have at least 500 people sign up for the course. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how do you sell it? I'm going to do a little math. How do you sell it?
I did want to ask, do you still run ads? Do you pay for ads, or are you all organic?
I don't right now. Actually, my account got hacked by this guy that put women in lingerie on my account back in October. And he hacked my personal account. And so I'm actually locked out of ads right now. I can't even make ads. I know.
Oh, bummer. Okay. So everything is purely organic. So it's
all organic.
That's amazing.
Yeah. We have almost made the same amount in our business in this first quarter plus a month. We will, by the end of this week, we'll have made all that we made in the entirety of last year.
Oh my goodness. Okay. That's amazing.
Crazy. Okay. So 500 people. And how do you know, like how do you sell it? Do you sell it with a webinar or a workshop?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I do like I call it like a masterclass before, the week before. I do the Jeff Walker launch method.
Okay. And do you know how many, like when you do that class, like what percentage of people that sign up will buy your course?
So let's see. I'm trying to think. So last year I had 3,000 people sign up for that masterclass, and I had about 275 people sign up for the course.
So about 10%.
Yeah, 10%. Okay. Is that normal?
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Rate?
That's great. Okay. So let's say 5,000. So let's say you have 5,000. You need 5,000 people then to sign up for the event to get 500, right? You could make it 6,000 to be sure, but we'll just go with 5. So 5,000. So then we want to think about like each video, the potential for each video, getting like, what's your average view on a video? Like number of views?
Yeah, probably around 20 to 30,000.
Okay. Awesome. So 20 to 30,000. And then generally, for us, like for every, how does it go? For every 10,000 views, we can usually bank on somewhere between 50 to 100 leads for every 10,000 views.
Okay. So that's something I should look at to see. Is that across the board? Okay.
Yeah. So like, let's say if you get a 30,000 view, then you want to aim for somewhere between 100 to 300 leads from that viewed video, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you need 5,000, you just start adding that up. So let's go conservative and say you only get 100 leads from a 30,000 viewed, which by the way is awesome, viewed video. So you just take 5,000 and divide it by 100, and that's 50 videos. Right? So it's 50 videos, and you're starting so early. This is September for you. So what you do is starting like right now, you're not going to be pointing to that thing so far in advance, right? But what you'll do is starting now, start giving things that are little hints toward that September event. So a little, it's about pattern writing, right? So maybe like a little quick win for them. My 5 favorite patterns, do a little mini class, maybe do a giveaway. That would be great. Do a major pattern giveaway. And every time you have one of those things right after they sign up for it, you say, hey, do you want to register for my event coming up in September? It's the biggest event I do every year, and it's only once a year. So let's even scale it back and say you only get 50 leads per video. That would mean you would need 100 videos between now and September, which I see your posting frequency, and you're posting plenty frequent to make that happen, right? This is essentially a little bit more than or less than one a day. And so you could literally just say, I'm going to post 100 videos that are all going to point to some kind of free thing. And then every time they sign up for it, I'll say, do you want to come to my thing in September? And then right up when you get close to September, then you're just going to talk about coming to the event. And that's the math. Like, that's it. You do videos, you point them to this sample, and then you say, hey, come to my event. And that's the math. So 100 videos will for sure get you 5,000 people signed up for the event. And then you do your magic on the event, and then you sell 500 memberships or 500 products, and then boom, you just hit your sales goal.
Oh my gosh, this is awesome. The thing that's really like, no paid ads. That's that's a financial changer. Yeah.
So and then what you can do if you like paid ads is you could take the things that are performing the best and then run paid ads on those. And then you'll get 10,000 leads.
Yeah. Yep. Which is awesome. Okay. I'm curious how much time you spend a day on social media.
Yeah, I probably spend 30. I don't scroll. I spend probably 30 minutes to an hour. And it's, I think I messed up this was supposed to give me some structure on my face, but it's not working.
The contour.
I did it in my car on the way to the plant shop. For everyone listening, I'm just fixing my makeup online. It's no problem. In the early morning, actually I just started scheduling these. But in the early morning, I might do a little bit of editing while I'm on a dog walk and go ahead and do like my morning post. And then, I have someone helping me now, but I'll go back to before I had someone helping me. I would edit quickly on a morning walk post. And then, in the middle of the day, I would check in and post one more time, like an old video or just kind of a quick edit one. And then if I have time, like in the evening, or if I'm at an event or something with my kids, or just have like some downtime, I'll work on a video, like editing a video that's going to be a little bit longer. I would say the most I spend in a day would be an hour. Most of it though is like I video what I'm already doing. So I'm not like, now's the time when I'm going to video for social media, right? It's more like I'm just doing my work and I'm videoing myself while I'm doing that. So every now and then I'll make a special effort to make a video, but for the most part, the social media magic part of it comes on the edit, not on the videoing. if that makes sense. And I see you really adopting this too, where you're like doing your thing. And then it's where like you clip it together with words and things. And that's where the magic happens. So I would say everyone listening, like start with what you can commit. I see a lot of people get super excited and they'll post a lot and then they'll back off. You are the opposite of that, where you just keep showing up and like follow Elizabeth and do what she does. Cause it's like the consistency is really powerful. So pick a period of time you can give to it. 30 minutes, I would say, is a good starting place. And it's so worth it. Like if we have the numbers behind us, right? If more people see your stuff, your business will grow. It's just, and like most of us think we have a product problem or a messaging problem, or we have a team problem. Most of us have a marketing problem. And if you have people who see you, then there will be more people who will demand what you have. And there's nothing that will help you get your team right, your product right, your delivery right. There's nothing that will make you improve all the other parts of your business than people waiting at the door trying to get in.
That is true. And okay, I'm very curious. Are you considering, because I know you have so much free time, are you considering ever offering a mastermind or a higher level, like where people can work with you more closely?
Oh, I love
this. This is me asking for a friend.
I know. I'm like, should I?
I would love it.
Yeah. So not my new, but I think you've probably experienced this too with your own. It sounds like you probably had a similar journey where you did quilting, you loved it, and then you built a business with it. And then you realize, oh, I love this business. I want to help other people have a business. And so I will say that has been like my growth journey was I desperately needed a business to be a mama for and to be home when I could be home. And I love the garden. And then through this journey, I'm like, I love the garden. I really do. But I love women in business more. And so, yeah, I would say that's my new chapter that I'm growing into. And so my word for this year for my Gardenary business is organize. So like the vision is that getting Gardenary to a place that is really sustained on its own so that I can do that, so that I can, hang out with people like you. And, I would love to do it. So if you know of anyone who's interested, tell them to call me.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll call, but I don't know of anyone who wouldn't be interested is the thing. So
I do. It's so fun, isn't it? Like it's life-changing what we're doing. And more women should know how to do it. It's like, I just saw this thing. It was a post about a farmer and not having female people part of it. And I hadn't heard this, but he was like, it's our society is set up where it's riskier for a woman to go into business than it is men. And it's really, they have to overcome a ton of obstacles to do it. And so, but you and I both know, like, right. It's just like, the life we get to live right now. I mean, look at us, we get to chat. This is our work right now. It's really amazing.
Yeah. And meeting cool people. And there's not a lot of examples of women who have been successful. We can look at a lot of men who've done it, but women who've paved the way, there's becoming more and more. But, I just think to empower women to know you can work but there are skills that aren't innate, that you can learn these things and you can have a successful business. So.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. You decide it's your dream. I think that's the hardest thing, right? For us, is like owning it, I want to live a different life. I want my life to be different than it is right now, and owning that. And then every day waking up and doing one more thing, to get closer to it.
Awesome. Well, so for our listeners who are like, I need more, where can I find Nicole? Where can they find you?
Yes. So my tiny little account that you can follow and give me one more person is Hey Nicole Burke. That's what I am on Instagram. And heynicoleburke.com will have a lot of resources there for you, including that 5-second video. And I actually have a free course that we're going to start with. That's like the 7 elements to a short form video that I'd love to give your listeners. So that will all be at heynicoleburke.com. And then my growth business account is called Wildly, harder to spell, Wildly Co. And then my gardening account is all at Gardenary, Gardenary. Gardenary Co. is my Instagram. And we're on all of the channels. And if you love gardening, head to gardenary.com. We have like thousands of blog articles and all kinds of resources to help you learn how to grow your own food at home. It's not as hard as quilting.
Tomato.
I mean, I started quilting when I was in China, actually. My friend
cool.
was a quilter, and I'll have to send you a picture of my first quilt I made. She actually made it with me. She basically made it. But I was into quilting for a while, and it is such an exact science. Like, you have to really be, like I had to move to plants. I had to move to where it was a living thing that could take over when I screwed up.
See, and I kill all my plants. So I'm like, what? Ooh, but it's changing. It's changing.
Yes. I'm going to show you. It's way easier. If you can quilt, you could literally feed the world, Elizabeth. Not kidding.
Awesome. Well, Nicole, this was so fun. Thank you so much for being here on the podcast today.
Of course. It is such an honor. And I'm so glad. I don't know how our Instagram accounts found one another, but I'm so thankful that they did. And I love what you're doing. And you're awesome. So I'm really, really excited to call you my friend.
Oh, same. The feeling is mutual. All right. We'll talk to you later. Thanks, Nicole.
What a treat. I hope you enjoyed listening to Nicole and learning from her just as much as I did. So go ahead and check out her Instagram account, and you can go to the show notes and get her freebie and start growing your following and doing some marketing on Instagram as well. Nicole, thank you so much for being here. And again, if you can take just a moment, I know some of you listen and are like, maybe another day, but really just take 1 second and go leave a review for the podcast. If even just one of you does this, it is such a game changer for the podcast. That is my ask of you. And until next Friday, have a wonderful week. I will see you back here with a brand new episode. Until then, take care.